Hi, this is part two of being well rounded. So anyway, um, controlling your emotions is a big thing, as I was saying earlier, and it is all part about being an adult, a young adult, being a responsible individual that has a job and thinking about moving ahead in this world or moving up in the job as to where you're making a decent amount of money to raise a family. You know, everybody wants their little house, and stuff like that, Everybody wants their family. Once you have kids, you may not care about it now, but once you have kids, you don't want a good environment for them. You want them to be in a house, not in an apartment, not in a shabby ass neighborhood, where there's a lot of dirt going on around you and all your neighbors is trying to see what you got so they can get it, type stuff. You don't want to raise your kids like that in an environment like that, even though you was raised, I know I was raised in an environment like that, you know. Um, you need to change. You need to do better than what your parents did. That's all part about moving up, being a well-rounded individual. You got to be that. That's the key. And education is the key. And if you drop out, you know, uh, get your GED. Getting a GED isn't that hard. You gotta make the effort to make the change, to do what's right. Because you're thinking about 20 years down the road, 10 years down the road. You know, you want to be able to live right. You want to be able to not worry about the rent or not worry about having food on the table. You know, your mama come to you and say, "Hey, I need $50 to do this or pay the light bill or that." You want to be able to say, "Yeah, here you go, mom." You know, let me run down to the bank and get that out. You know, and sure you can do it in the fast life. You know, but you're also gonna be looking at Popo knocking at your door or just another gangbanger looking in there to rip you off, or if you run a little family, family members getting jealous of what you got and stealing it. I mean, there's so much more stuff, so much more worrying in the fast life. That's why you grow old fast. That's why, 20-year-olds look like 35, you know, because all this worrying they're doing. Watching their back 24/7, blip de blop the blues, it ain't good for you, you know. So, play the square side. I mean, hardcore gangsters supposed to be hardcore gangsters. Well, they did a lot of serious dirt in their lives, so they can make the claim. You know, that's why they've been in prison for the last 10, 20 years. And those individuals that I'm referring to, even them realize that they chose the wrong path. They should have chose the square side. They should have got more education to be playing their game even smarter than what they played it. Or they shouldn't have been so hard-headed and individual. They should have listened to their friends and relatives, about how the game goes and what. No, I want to do it my way. You know, people don't tell you stuff unless they've been there themselves, and it's been already trial and error. You see, part of a teen, part of a teen, the life of a teenager coming into adulthood is that they want to do their own trial and errors, even though something's already been tried and erred 100 times before by 1,000 different people. You know, so they know what technique works and what technique does not work in order to achieve goals, be it whatever type of goal you want to be referred to in any type of situation you want to refer to. This is you gotta listen. You gotta swallow your pride. You gotta take heed. You gotta slow your roll. You gotta play it the way other people play it. Because if you don't, you're gonna find yourself putting yourself in the negative side of life, one way or another. Lose your finance, or lose your self-respect, or lose your friends. Lose your family. You gotta be a well-rounded individual. You gotta be positive and caring for your friends and family and relatives and your neighbors. Care about people you don't even know, fellow employees. When you get a job, that's all part of caring. For your job. Even though you really don't don't want to. But that's the public side of yourself you gotta show. That's all part of being, part of your public self is showing that you care. To what degree depends on you as an individual. But you gotta show that you care. For your job, and the fellow employees, and the work you're doing. Jobs ain't nothing but a stepping stone. You learn as much as you can while you're there. Earn what little money you can while you're there. Stay there for 2-3 years. Then step off it. Move up to a better job. Don't let your employer decide when it's time for you to go. You decide when you want to go. And that's after you have put in 2-3 years for your resume and got another job lined up to go to directly, and make your move. Don't let them make the move for you. Because a lot of times, if you're not budgeting your money right, and stuff like that, then you find yourself fired one day and all these bills, because you figured I won't be here for another year or two, and here I get fired, and now I don't have the money to pay off these bills. And it's harder to get a job, especially when you can't refer to the last job that you've had. The whole goal of having a job, especially coming out of teenage days, is to build a resume. The stronger your resume, the more positive the letters of recommendation you have from your pastor or other employees. When you leave a job, get a letter of recommendation from the supervisor or the foreman or somebody, about how well you work and how much you was on time and stuff like that. That carries on to your next job and opens doors on your next job, especially if you maintain that attitude and that procedure and what expected what is expected from you. So you got to there's a cause and effect, and if you create a negative situation, the effect that's going to be upon you is going to be negative. So you got to control that through your emotions and be a well-rounded individual. Being on time for work, or for your family. When you say you're going to do something, do it. Or don't say it at all. Commitment is a lot. A lot of times all you have is your word. Your word and your rep. And if you got a bad rep because you can't hold up to your word, you ain't got squat. So take care of yourself. Be a well-rounded individual. Do what's right. Listen to your family members. Listen to your friends. Listen to the elders that give you advice on how to be. They're not telling you what to do. They're telling you what you should do. But it's up to you to do the actual doing. You choose what's best for you. Pick a little bit from here, pick a little bit from there, and be who you want to be. That particular individual. But keep in mind, you have a private self and a public self. And they got to stay separated in order to work and be a well-rounded individual and a productive citizen in our society. That's what it's all about. These are the things you have to do and consider in order to be there. So, a lot of people have fears of what it's going to be like in the future. Bangers, they don't care about the future because they know they're going to die, before they're 25. They have that attitude. Well, you may have that attitude when you start out as a young teenager. But, if you care about life, you don't want to die when you're 25. Especially if you have a couple babies or a baby, when you're in your late teens. You want to be around for that baby because you love it. That's your baby. So now you got to think about, oh my God, here I done wasted all this time. And now I got to deal with this baby and I want to do what's right for this baby, but I don't have the education or the mannerisms or the cultural state of mind in order to do what's right on a job to maintain and hold that job or to get a better job. Use these jobs as a stepping stone so I can get up to a good $20, $30 an hour job. So many people lose track of the future, thinking about the future, what's best for them in the future, 10, 20 years down the road. You gotta think about that. You really do. I was taught that back into my young teens. Think about what you want when you turn 40, 50 years old. Think about what you want when you turn 30. Think about what you want when you turn 20. Where you want to be when you turn 20 years old. You want to be living with your mama? Or you want to be living with your mama when you're 30? Or you want to be in prison when you're 30? Come on. To be a well-rounded, productive citizen, you can't be thinking like that.